Hello, viewers, and welcome back to, what did I call this? Mapping with bRan. bRan's mapping journal, something like that. We're on my test world. If you saw the previous episode, you may realize things look a little different. I'm just trying to reorganize things. I've also done some experimentation with a few other options that I'm looking to utilize for my class system. Right now, do we have some boots on? We do. We have the leather boots, so that means our class is most likely set to, where is my change display? My class is 1, I believe. Yes. And with that, I don't know that these abilities that I have right now would be with class 1. I'm just testing them. So right now I have, let me switch to F5, crouching. I wanted to call it sprint. Crouching will turn you invisible. But if you start to move, you lose the invisibility, but you get a speed bonus. So the idea here is for an archer type class where you don't want to get spotted because you're not really great with melee. And maybe you sneak a little closer, but while you're sneaking, you're visible. And you do have a speed boost as you're sneaking in order to make it so even though you're sneaking, you're not really moving too terribly slowly. Whereas compared to the other classes, you're most likely going to be slower. And then did I also have a sprint? No, I don't. But another thing I was experimenting with, and I'm not going to keep this, is I wanted to mess around with levitate. I say that like a question because I couldn't remember what it was called. But basically for the run jump on this, it gives you a levitate. And I also have a secondary counter that's kind of taking that away. The problem with levitate, and maybe you'll see this, is for any little part of it when you fall, that is making an imaginary number go up called fall. So if I go down a little and then go up, if I get one of these long jumps where I kind of go up, down, all the down is added together. And if it's down enough to count for 3 blocks, then you're gonna go splat. And that's even with, no, I don't have any feather falling on. So I mean, I could negate that, but it's so derpy. I also tried activating levitate when you held down shift. So you could kind of hold down shift, float up a little, let go, press shift again while you're in the air. And you kind of went like, but every time you went down, all that down measurement was added together, totaled up. So by the time you finally landed, if you were having real fun just going zip, 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 and you finally land, doot, splat. It was actually quite funny. But yeah, so experimenting with that. I don't quite like how it is. I have it set up so if you stop pressing forward, then it kills it. It drops you down. So it's interesting. There's a lot of things that I learn doing stuff like this. Like, oh, that'd be interesting. But there's so much of it that you wouldn't end up using for anything. So I have a lever here that's going to change my class to 7. Yes. And so there's a new snapshot. And there's always a new snapshot, right? And one of the options, one of the new things they've added is Mending. And they've also added Frostwalker. Now, I haven't done any experimentation with Frostwalker, but if you look around YouTube, there's plenty of people that have done experimentation with Frostwalker. And so I had a couple ideas. One of them was, does Mending work on the zombie, on mobs? So what I did was I gave him this boot item, diamonds, because the durability is the highest, and I have it down to 1 point of durability. and it has mending. So something mending will do is mending will eat experience. So my question was, wouldn't it be funny if there was a mob who, as he was walking around, gathered up experience? But he doesn't do it. It doesn't work on mobs. Frostwalker does, but this does not. So I thought about... Let's take that off. What other uses could this have? I guess I should have started off with, if you're not aware, if something has mending and it has damage, the experience goes into the item. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I'm in survival. And I have nothing to kill you with. That's okay. The fire will kill you. So that is a thing. And I was hoping it would work on mobs. So as you're killing a group of enemies, they start sucking up their own experience points. I just thought that would be funny. Putting this back on, this is constantly replacing my boots with something that's just missing a little bit of damage. But this actually makes it so I can't gain experience because it's all going into the boot. Now, I don't have a practical use for this, but if you wanted to use the XP bar here as some sort of gauge for something else, something that players could gain and spend, then doing something like this, forcing them to have an item on that has mending, would make it so they can't gain experience through normal means, but you could reward them experience points with command blocks. Maybe base it on, I don't know, whatever you wanted to, and then you could have them spend it however you wanted to. They could still spend it on enchanting and repairing and such, but I don't know. It seemed interesting. Not something I'll probably use. But that's what I do mostly on this stuff. I just play around, try to come up with what crazy things can I do. Oh, my floaty jump's not working because I'm class 7. There was something else, one other thing. I wanted to do a test. I'm messing around, making an RPG system, obviously, because I mentioned it last video and I've already mentioned it this video. But I had a question as I was thinking about it at work. Let's change game modes. Okay, and now I can fire the bow. And let's just fire this for a little bit and get used to the speed. So I had a question. I had a thought. I print out notes. Actually, I try to make them in Google Docs and really lay everything out. Basically make an outline. And on my breaks, because I'm such a nerd, I have a copy of this printed out. And I just kind of look at it and think about it and figure out what I want to do. And I had a question that I thought of. And that's, does haste affect bow drawback speed? Now, if we look at it, it doesn't have a number like the weapons do. And so I'm kind of hoping it does, because I think it would be really interesting to have an archer-like class, which I already have some stuff laid out for it. But if I did a weakness of a really high level or something else that took the attack down to 0, basically would effectively make it so you cannot attack melee. Well, that's fine. You can attack with a bow, but everybody can use the bow. I don't really have a method, not a clean one, to prevent other people from using a bow. So if you're going to be an archer, you should have some type of bonus, I think. And that bonus could very well be being able to attack faster with a bow. Let's see. No, really? Oh, come on. Nothing? Now, I know it affects weapons. Like, I could just spam click this. See how long it resets, how quick it resets. What's the slowest item? I think swords are the slowest item, actually. And we'll switch into survival just to demonstrate. You like shoot, right? And with this level of haste, you're not even moving your hands. It's just not even playing the animation. It almost seems like it's too much, actually. Let's kick this up to level 100. Yeah, then you just... bam. Spam click. I don't have arrows. Maybe that's the issue. Do you think that could be it? No. Darn. That would have been super cool. Super cool because I could have done it, and super cool because I would have discovered something on camera with you guys. Bummer. Well, if you have any ideas, and don't worry about if they're possible or not, because sometimes people throw out this really weird, crazy thought, and that's enough to get me or someone else to think of something even crazier, and something's bound to be possible. As a matter of fact, what I want to achieve may still be possible. I'll have to look at the wiki and see what kind of data tags go on a bow. I don't know. I'm a little sad. But we'll think of something. Yeah. Well, that's all I had to show off today. Hopefully, I'll have more of a completed product of my RPG system to show off soon. I've held off on completing any particular one class simply because I know once I have them all made, I'm going to want to balance them against each other first, and then I'll have to do some playtesting somehow to balance them against actually using them. Make sure they're not too powerful or too underpowered. If when you play one of the classes that I've created, you feel like you'd be better off playing without any perks, you feel like, man, if I was just a regular Minecraft guy with none of these fancy abilities, I'd be doing better, then I've done it wrong. And if there's any particular class that you say, I'd rather play this one over every other single one, why would you ever pick anything different? Then I've done it wrong. I need every single one to be good and fun for a different reason. So that's what we'll be working towards, and that's what I'll bring you along on. But, as I said, that's it for this video, so until next time, this has been bRan. I will see you next video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.